What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Let me fix this camera view really quickly because this one is wicked right here. Rio, what's up, my dog? So, as you guys can see, we on the live stream, and it's a joyous day in Commanders country. It's a joyous day in Commanders country because our guy, Terry McLaurin, signed the bag. McLaurin signed the bag. But let me give you a formal introduction before we get into this live stream. As you guys can see, I'm with the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT in the Commanders community, my guy, Rio Robinson. You see he's rocking the Terry. I'm rocking the 17 jersey. Like I said, It's a joyous day. What's up, mi hermano? How are you doing? Hola,
hey, man. It is a beautiful day in Washington Commanders land. We can finally just talk about football. Terry got his bag. He cashed out. He got his bread. And I'm pretty sure Adam Peters and company cooked up on their end because we're like hours from getting the news and ain't no sight of what the guarantee is on the deal. We're about a week of some change away from real football. So I am lovely right now, Jalen.
Bro, let's talk about it, though, because the one thing that I took away from today is that I'm super excited that it shows that something that a trend that we've seen over the last 18 months, that nothing's getting out of Ashburn. We saw Adam Schefter get up today and say that they were nowhere near a deal just for them to sign about 90 minutes later.
So and Schefter's the most plugged in person in the world.
They had Adam Schefter in the Matrix. So how do you feel about that? The fact that nobody knew what was going on, and the fact that, there was so much discourse and so many talking points on each side that, they was cooking up this deal this entire time. How you feel about that?
The lack of leaky faucets in Ashburn, this is what we've begged for. We've begged for someone as diligent, as process-oriented and football-minded as Adam Peters to take over this organization for quite some time. And fans got a little too emotional on either side of this thing along the process. Ultimately, sometimes we all just got to shut the hell up and let the grown folks handle grown folks' business. The deal is done. AP did what he needed to do. And the only person that needs to walk in and walk out the exact same day with a contract with no cha-cha-cha or process, that's that boy playing quarterback for us. Everybody else on the team got to go through it like the rest of the people in the league.
Absolutely. And like I've been saying for a couple of months now, 5 is the only player on this roster on blank check status. Now, speaking of blank check status, let's talk about these numbers. 3 for what's led up to be 96, or what we've led to believe is up to 96. Like you said, there's no number on the guarantees, and we're about 8 hours removed from the deal. So let's just take the numbers for what we know and take the numbers at surface point. What do you think about a 3 for $96 million deal? Because to be 100% honest with you, I wasn't necessarily surprised at the number, but I'm going to be honest. I was surprised that Terry got that third year. That means we're going to be possibly paying him about $30+ million at 34 years old. How you feel about that, bro?
I'm not going to lie to you. When I saw 3 years, 96, it surprised me, even though my original offer, when we started making predictions at the beginning of this process, my original was that it was going to be 3 years, 95 million. But after all of the context and everything we seen play out, I'm like, okay, we're not even going to get up to that. We're not getting up to that high. And we may even talk contract under 30 million a year. So when I first seen the number, it stuck out to me like, oh, wow, they really did cash him out. And then I thought about it. I thought about the same thing that was going through my mind when Courtland Sutton's contract came out, was that we got the highest number on the sticker. We got the highest number on the deal, and there is no sight of a guarantee, which tells me if both sides had to budge and compromise in this thing, we didn't see Washington's side yet, and Washington is being very, very gracious about it. They're not making sure that number gets out immediately. But I'm happy for Terry McLaurin. He is setting a new precedent for 30+ receivers, but we now need to treat him like he's a top 5 to 7 receiver in the league. Therefore, we can't have a 2-week start like we did last year. We can't have 4 or 5 games under 40 yards in a season. None of that. And we don't need to play the games of, I got 1,000 yards in week 16. Let's comfortably get over 1,000 going forward.
Yeah, and like I've said on my channel, I hate the 1,000-yard stat because over 20 yards get 1,000 yards, and that's why you 20K Rio because 1,000 yards, like everybody does that. We really like you keep it raw and uncut. We really need to keep him to a top 5 and top 7 status at this point because I know as a fan base, we look at him through the brightest of burgundy and gold colored lenses. So let's talk about the 2025 season. How do you expect Terry McLaurin to start this year, being that he missed all of training camp and he signs a deal with what 13 days leading up to camp, leading up to week 1?
Hey,
How do you think the first couple of weeks of Terry season is going to look like?
I keep seeing people like Dan Orlovsky. Oh, they better be very careful with him the first 4 to 6 weeks of the season. We got to get him. Listen, that boy better have his conditioning right because we are all wheels up week 1 of the season. I'm not trying to say all in for week 1, but I watched CeeDee Lamb do this same thing last year. And since our fan base, for whatever reason, thinks Terry McLaurin is on a CeeDee Lamb type of level, then I'm not concerned with him early on in the season. He can get his ass out there and play like everybody else. Yeah, I know they work. CeeDee was not necessarily getting his full pitch count earlier on in the season, but get out there and get active, Terry McLaurin. You should be the freshest, healthiest person at camp at this point.
So this is a way too early stat line, and we're not going to hold you to this. We're not going to hold you to this, but we like to cut up on the channel. You know how we get when we get on the stream. Give me a way too early stat line prediction for Terry McLaurin in the 2025 season.
84 catches, 1,197 yards, so just under 1,200, 9 touchdowns on the season. I can't take any less.
So the 1,200-yard mark evades him once again, huh?
Yep, once again, man. But hey, it's right there, though. He flirting with it. He flirting with it like B-Rob flirt with 800 every year, but didn't know why he got traded.
And guess what? If that comes with a Super Bowl win, I bet both of us will take it. I bet both of us will take it. Shout out to Preseason.
It might also come with a Deebo Samuel 1,000-yard receiving season as well. So that's a factor that definitely plays into it.
So are we talking about a JD5 MVP season? Is that what you leading up to? We were sticking to bold predictions to the end of the stream. Is that what you're talking about? We might as well get into it now. Is that what I'm hearing right now?
Yeah, we're talking all of it, bro. We're at the point of the season now. We already got all the distractions out of the way. JD5 for MVP, hashtag MVP5 season loading. Exactly. That's what we're talking about in 2025.
Shout out to Queen Sheen. And like she said, y'all go ahead and smash that like button, smash that subscribe button so you're not missing any of this content. And follow my man Rio. Subscribe to my man Rio. He got 20K, but guess what? He can get to 21K. It never hurts. He trying to get to 100K and go ahead and support my man. But we've talked enough about Terry McLaurin. Let's actually talk about some guys that have been putting in some work in between the white lines. How do you feel about this preseason, bro? We went 0-3. We got outscored by more than 70 points. How did the taste of the preseason leave you to feel with 13 days going into week 1?
We really have no idea what our actual team looks like because we didn't see them play in the preseason this year. Yeah, we went to go see the Temu version of who we are, go get washed in these preseason games, but that's what you expect when Sam Hartman and Josh Johnson are out there playing 4 quarters of football every week. We didn't get to see Marcus Mariota, and honestly, we didn't need to see Marcus Mariota. The quarterback 1 and 2 spots are solidified. I'm sure we're going to get more into that with these 53-man roster projections, but it's a lot of nasty work. Maybe the players that are at the bottom of the 53 or the players that are right outside the 53 looking in, they aren't good enough, but the core nucleus of this team is ready to go get to it and contend in 2025. So this preseason has not made me feel anything other than bring on real football.
Shout out to the In Command podcast. I can't have you getting in trouble in school, my boy. I can't have you. I'm a teacher, bro. I can't advocate you getting in trouble in school, my boy, but it is a national holiday, 8/25/25, Terry McLaurin signing day. And I agree with you 100%. I believe that my view of the preseason is kind of incomplete because I don't think we can get an honest look at the offense with the likes of Sam Hartman.
You can't.
As the quarterback. If Sam Hartman hasn't started filling out his Paris Week application, I don't even know if you fill out applications for Paris Week. He could become a hand. I don't know. He can become. I know we've talked about an Abercrombie Fitch model. He might have downgraded from that. We could stick him in some $12.99 H&M polos, bro.
Fashion Nova, ready
at this point, bro. And I just think that you can't honestly get a good look at the offensive side of the ball. You know, when you're trying to get flashes from a Jalen Lane, when you're trying to get flashes from a Luke McCaffrey. And I think that we haven't even talked about this. I think that kind of played into my mind when I was doing my 53-man projection, because honestly, bro, this year was different than any other 53-man projection, because I think that I can slice this roster into maybe less than 53 spots, because the back half of the roster was so bad. It stinks, bro. And while I think that we could get an incomplete view of the offense and they get an incomplete grade, it was a lot of the defenders that we expect to be out there on Sunday in backup roles and throughout the preseason. So how you feel about the defense still not stopping the run, not setting the edge? And what's your prospects on the defense going into the 2025 season?
We added a whole bunch of beef up front. We added a whole bunch of size up front, and we only got to really see it for a possession or two in the preseason. I think if they did all of that in the offseason for us to still not be able to stop the run, then I have no idea what to tell you about the 2025 season from a defensive standpoint. But I think Javon Kinlaw is going to be validated, and Adam Peters bringing him in, it went over a lot of people say, I think he's about to go crazy in this defense. I think you're going to see a motivated Daron Payne, in which Adam Peters has shown no inclination that he is not willing to cut somebody, move on from somebody when it's time. So Daron Payne has to show why he needs to be here long term. Dietrich Wise is a very stout guy off the edge. We've even seen him getting after the quarterback so far. He's about to punch Joe Burrow in the face. We was playing the Bengals on Monday night last week. But if they did all of that, bringing in all this size up front, and we still can't set an edge defensively, because the running backs will get to the outside with ease in the preseason, but it's also lift drivers out there. So it's kind of hard to really tell if we can stop the run now or not, even though Dan Quinn teams never really stop the run. They just find ways to turn the ball over.
Shout out to my guy, Sean. I appreciate the super.
Hey.
What it do? I think he cooked for the simple fact, going back to Terry and AP, I think he cooked for the simple fact that he gave him a $30 million deal, dropping his deal to 33 for 66, $22 million average annual value. So Sean seems to have delved into the numbers a little more than I did. But if that's what it looks like, as far as, void years and things like that, AP definitely cooked. And like you said, I think there's a reason why we're 8 hours removed from that deal getting announced, and we haven't seen guaranteed numbers. If you can look at, the ESPN ticker when they're reporting on the deal, they're like, yeah, Terry's agent told us that. Ain't nothing come out from the Commanders over the course of the last 8 hours. But I agree with you wholeheartedly on that defense. Are you ready to get into these 53-man projections, man?
Absolutely, man. We got a roster to cut down, and I can't wait to get some of these dudes off of it.
All right, so to give you a totality before I get into my in-depth, we can just go off of each other, pause. But I got 24 offensive players. I have 26 offensive players, 24 defenders, and 3 specialists. So let's start with the quarterbacks. And I had 2 quarterbacks making the roster. We talked about the pits of the quarterback play that we had over the course of the preseason. And I don't think anybody is worth a damn of holding the QB3 spot on the roster. Now, if you want to call Jeff Driscoll, maybe we can talk. But I don't even know if I want Sam Hartman on my practice squad. I need Sam Hartman as far away from the NFL as possible, because now he's making me think that I missed my chance. Like, when you first get out of high school, you're like, damn, bro, what could have been? And you see some guy in college football that don't belong out there. That's how Sam Hartman is.
Sam Hartman got you feeling like the old head at the barbershop that went all state.
Bro, got me feeling like, got me out there ringing my arm up again. Like, I got more velocity than bro. Like, come on, bro. So I have 2 quarterbacks making the roster in the burgundy and golden boy, Jayden Daniels, number 5. And then Marcus Mariota. Like I said, I don't think Josh Johnson or Sam Hartman are worthy of making the practice squad, but I am a little curious with Marcus Mariota's injury. So what do you have for your, quarterbacks projected to make the 53-man roster?
I mean, just like we are in the group chat all the time, always on the same wavelength. If there's a third quarterback to make this roster, they are not currently in Ashburn as we speak. And what they call it now, Big Bear? Big Bear?
bear. They had the big bear.
Well, they had the bear now. Yeah, that third quarterback ain't in the building right now. We only need to keep two. It's Jaden and it's Marcus Mariota, who was Jaden before Jaden, man. That's it. That's it.
So, bro, I missed the boots on the ground, and I was at Northwest Stadium for the Commanders and the Ravens' previous preseason matchup from this past weekend. I was miserable, bro, and I was mad at myself for going to that game, and the back of my neck was slow roasting. Like, I was miserable to see Sam Hartman out there throwing ducks out that joint. How did it feel watching that game on TV? Did you manage to make it all the way through? I know you got the live watch party stream spot, but how was that experience watching Sam Hartman and Josh Johnson on TV?
I'm not going to hold you, man. If it wasn't for my son being there and adding comedic relief with me, I'm not sure if I would have made it through that entire game. But yeah, we pushed the watch party all the way through. No, I think it was the excitement of hitting 20K subscribers on the channel that day or something, because that was a very hard watch, man. Nobody really gave us any tape. If it weren't for Colson Yankov and like one Luke McCaffrey catch, I'm not sure we did anything positive all day. But it was nasty. And the kicker gave us more stuff to talk about. And I don't like talking about kickers. So that's what kind of day it was on Saturday.
For sure. Now let's move on to the running backs. I actually have 4 running backs making the roster, and Chris Rodriguez, Bill Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Austin Eckler, and Jeremy McNichols. How about you?
Same. Once again, we on the exact same page. I got 4 running backs. I don't see no reason. You're not keeping 5, and there's no reason to just keep 3. We could just run with 4 running backs. I think Jeremy McNichols has a defined role on this team, and Christopher Rodriguez is going to be the short yardage guy and situation. I think Bill and Eckler are the lead dogs in this room now.
It's crazy that you say that, because when I was looking at this roster, I honestly think it's going to be a committee all-year approach, man. Like, really, where they're delving in on the personnel, they're delving in on the defensive matchups. But I said this on the channel yesterday, and if you want to stream now, listen to this. I know this weekend is huge in fantasy football leading up to the NFL regular season. Draft Austin Eckler in fantasy football. Draft Austin Eckler in fantasy football. It's a reason why they're preserving him. He's been with running back coach Anthony Lynn every year but 2 in his career. They know what they have in Austin Eckler. And it's the reason why everybody else is talking about Chris Rodriguez and Bill, and Austin Eckler is lurking in the shadows, especially if you're in a PPR format. Because I think that we might be in for a vintage Austin Eckler year. Austin Eckler has never had a 1,000-yard season, but there's been times where he's been top 5 picks in fantasy football just simply because what he can do in the passing game. So what you feel about, my analysis on that situation?
I like it, man. I think Austin Eckler, if it wasn't for the concussions that were beating his head up a little bit at some point of the season, he was having a really good year for us last year, man, returning the football and playing running back. Early on, for the first couple of weeks of the season, Cliff was back in his Screensberry bag, and it was working. Eckler was huge early on. They can rely on him more as they usher in and give Bill an even bigger role on this team. I imagine they're going to be the 1A, 1B on this team. So I expect a lot of Austin Eckler in 2025. So I think you hit it right on the head with vintage Eckler season on the way.
So, all 4 of these guys basically got Brian B-Rob out of the paint. What do you think about Brian Robinson going in his introductory press conference with the San Francisco 49ers and saying that he was surprised that the Commanders traded him due to his production, despite never having an 800-yard season in his career? What do you think about his comments speaking on the trade from the Washington Commanders to the San Francisco 49ers?
I try not to care about anything guys say once they're no longer here, but we're all human, right? We're all human. Brian Robinson Jr., we wish him the best in San Francisco, but come on now, man. Just like we were just talking about how Terry flirts with 1,200, but ain't never been there. Brother, you don't even flirt with 1,000 or 900 or 800. You flirt with it.
You're not even spooning 1,000. Like, we're not even getting to first base with 1,000, bro. Like,
so what are we talking about?
What production? I thought lack of production, maybe?
What are we talking about, man?
I don't know, but I think that's enough with the running backs, man. Let's move to the wide receivers. I think this might be the most controversial position so far. How many wide receivers you got us keeping?
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say we're keeping 6 wide receivers, but here's the caveat to that. 1 is not in the building right now. I think we're gonna keep 5. We're gonna practice squad stash Ja'Cory Brooks, and the 6th receiver on the roster is going to be cut in the next 24 to 48 hours.
So give me the 6 that you have making the roster.
Yep, I got Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, Noah Brown, an unknown player that is not currently here in the building will be our 6th receiver.
Like you said, man, I think we're in lockstep. I have those. And in my script notes, I also have that I think that we could potentially be looking at a guy to pluck off of waiver wires like we did with Noah Brown last year. If we can remember, at this point last year, 365 days ago, Noah Brown was not a Washington Commander. And this was a guy that had a significant impact in the 2024 season. Are there any names, because I know you tuned in across the entire NFL, some names that you think might potentially get cut or be cut that we might pluck off of a waiver wire? One name that sparked my interest was a guy like Jalen Hyatt, a guy, a 3rd-round pick a couple of years ago from the New York Giants that has never necessarily hit his stride, but I think he can give us some downfield juice that we don't necessarily have outside of a guy like Terry McLaurin. Are there any other names that have sparked your interest that might potentially get cut across the league?
Yeah, another baby Debo, Malachi Corley for the New York Jets. That's someone I'll be keeping tabs on because that was a player that I believe both of us liked coming out of that class a couple years ago, and he's already possibly on his way out in New York. I know wide receivers can't wait to get out of there though, because Justin Fields not going to get it done with them. But yeah, I think there's going to be a wide receiver or two. You see, Amari Cooper went back to the Raiders today.
Yeah, I did. And, speaking of the Raiders, Jacoby Myers requested a trade. Is that somebody that you might be worth, sending a flyer out for or, putting the feelers out for to see what he might be potentially interested in, even though you did just spend over $30 million on a wide receiver?
Yeah, I don't see us in the Jacoby Myers business unless he was inevitably released. But I wouldn't mind having me a starting quality receiver because you're not going to get but so weeks out of Noah Brown. But speaking of Noah Brown, did you see that man warming up before the game? Has he ever been that fast before?
I watched it in person, bro. I didn't know. Bro was breaking a sweat, and you can tell he's really ready to go out there and ready to play football. You can tell he's itching at the bit to get back out.
When has he been that fast ever, Jalen?
Never, but I think it might be because he was out of shoulder pads. Let's not get too crazy. He was out of shoulder pads, but I will agree with you. He's never been that fast. He's never been that fast in his life. He was out that joint looking like Randy Moss. I will agree with you 100%. I'm like, he injury where? Spleen injury where? Like, he ready to play today. But I'm glad that we've kept him in bubble wrap because it looked like he was hitting the cryo chamber the way that he came back and was, like you said, he was 100% full go in warm up. Shout out to my guy Ian, says Jalen and Rio should be a regular 1-2 punch. We are. That's my dog. Like you said, we've been in lockstep for what? Almost a half a decade now.
Hell yeah, almost 5 years at this point, man. I don't see Jalen. He catching up, man. He becoming an old man on us right now.
There you go. Rio's boomer ass has to remind me that I'm about to be a boomer with him. I get it. You always need your friends to keep you humble, my boy.
Yes. As soon as that ball get kicked off in Spain, you done joined the club, brother.
Yeah, it's about that time. But let's move to the offensive line. I think this might be where we start to disperse, but honestly, I don't know. We've been so lockstep the entire stream. I have us keeping 9 offensive linemen. How about you?
There we go. That 10 for me.
10. All right. Yep. So mine that I have is Laramie Tunsil, Sam Cosmi. I don't think that Sam Cosmi is going to be placed on the PUP list because I think he's going to be available in the first 4 weeks of the season. Tyler Biadasz, Brandon Coleman, and Josh Connerly with Andrew Wiley, Chris Paul, Nick Allegretti, Noah Fant, and Michael Dieter backing them up. How about that?
Okay. We already know who the top 5 linemen on the team is. So it comes down to who are the next 5. I think the 2 guys that they just brought in, Nick Harris, George Fant, that's 2 for me. Chris Paul, that's 3. Allegretti, that's 4. And this is where it gets interesting. It's like, who is that 5th lineman going to be? Because I got 10. Who is going to be the 10th guy in the room? Did I say Trent Brown?
You didn't. Trent Scott.
Yeah, Trent Scott is going to have to be the final guy in that room. But then that leaves some, I don't know. It's tricky with the offensive line, man. But I picked 10, 5 and 5 reserve. Do we not need a reserve at every position because some guys are swing guys?
I feel like we do, and I'm so glad this is a perfect segue. The only reason, and I swear it's the only reason that I have Michael Dieter making this roster is because
Harris got cut already, by the way. So, matter of fact, I'm going off my roster from last night's 53-man projection. So, Harris already got cut, so we can take one off my list already.
Matter of fact, yeah, and I know there was a list of about 6 or 7 players, including Michael Gallup and Essing Bengi. What's Essing?
Essing
Essing Bassey. Essing Bassey got cut. But I think that was a perfect segue because the only reason that I have Michael Dieter making this list is because I've heard and I saw with my own eyes when we were boots on the ground at Ashburn, Nick Allegretti struggling with snaps. So do you think he's going to be able to be your swing backup guard and your swing backup center? And then in that case, like, who do you have the snap once Tyler Biadasz goes down? Because we saw the offensive line fell to pitch once he got injured last year.
God, I just don't want it to be Michael Dieter. I don't want it.
Me neither. Michael Dieter has about the same amount of velocity on his snaps as Sam Hartman does on his passes.
Same guy.
They're the same guy. I agree with you 100%, but I think that's just where the state of the end of this roster is. All right, so the last position group for the offense, I have us keeping 4 wide receivers in a
tight ends.
Tight ends. I have us keeping 4 tight ends. All pass catches the same. Some a little thicker than others. But I have us pause. But I have us keeping 4 tight ends, which might be a little from the norm because I know the 3 that we as a community have typically had shoe in and solidified. But I actually have Carlson Yankov making this roster as well. I think he showed a little bit of juice in the downfield passing game. And I think he's threatening Ben Sinnott, not essentially for a spot on the roster, but he's giving you impact on the special teams. And if we can look maybe 2 or 3 years down or 1 or 2 years down the line, as Adam Peters gets further and further removed from drafting Ben Sinnott in the 2nd round, I think Carlson Yankov might be a guy that Wally pips him. What you think about that?
I like what I've seen from Colson Yankov this summer, and I think they like him, seeing a little wiggle, another dynamic possible passing option in the tight end game. I got us keeping 3. I only got us keeping the 3 that we all know who it's going to be. It's going to be Ertz, Sinnott, John Bates. You got your blocking extraordinaire and Bates. Bates might be more than that this year, bro. He been out here rolling the jersey up. His swag hitting different since he put pen to paper on it.
Got the mullet winging. Got the mullet winging.
3-year deal got him out here. Like he moving different. The swagger's different. And Zach Ertz has found the fountain of youth and somehow looks like prime Zach Ertz again. Jaden loves him. And what we see out of Ben Sinnott this year means it means everything to what last year's draft class is, because other than the main couple guys, we're waiting to see what these guys turn into. So I only got us keeping 3. I got us stashing Colson Yankov, and I do think he clears waivers so he could get on the practice squad.
So before I move to the defense, I actually want to backtrack really quickly because I missed this point. We both had Luke McCaffrey making this roster, and it was a surprise to me when it became such of a trending topic in the community that he might be a surprise cut. What do you think about that take that was lingering around the Commanders community for the last week that, Luke McCaffrey might not make the roster in 2025?
Luke McCaffrey, man. Shout out to Lucas, man. Shout out to Lucas McCaffrey. There's not a chance. They've already used up their annual "we're cutting a draft pick" on Dominic Hampton. Luke McCaffrey is going to be here, guys. Luke McCaffrey is the guy who rounds out the wide receiver room. While my expectations are very low on the player, and I don't think he's that talented, he's going to be here. And in the spots where he's asked to contribute, I think he will. Luke McCaffrey's not going anywhere, guys.
All right. So you heard it there first from the man, RIO Robinson himself. You ready to move on to this defense, man?
Let's do it.
All right. So, like I said, I have us keeping 24 defenders. I have us keeping 9 defensive linemen with Von Miller being listed as the defensive lineman. I know he wears 24. I know he's listed as an outside linebacker on the team page. Von Miller was brought here to rush the passer. If you thought he was brought here to do anything else, you're fooling yourselves. Mm-hmm. So, for the 9 defensive linemen that I have making this roster is Dorrance Armstrong, Javon Kinlaw, Daron Payne, Dietrich Wise, Jacob Martin, Johnny Newton, Eddie Goldman, and Cleveland Farrell. How do you feel about that list?
I like it. So I got 10. I got 6 edges and 4 defensive tackles. And my edges, I don't want Cleveland Farrell on the final roster, but I think we're going to get Cleveland Farrell on the final roster. Javonte Jean-Baptiste with the same ideology I just gave you for Luke. They used up their annual cut draft pick, and I got him sticking around. Von Miller, Dietrich Wise, Dorrance Armstrong, Jacob Martin. Those are my 6. So Cleveland Farrell, JJB, Von Miller, Wise, Dorrance, and Martin. For 4 interior guys, Kinlaw and Payne and Newton, we know what it is. And I got big, bad built Sheldon Day finishing out the defensive tackle room. No Eddie Goldman for me on this side.
And to be honest with you, man, Cleveland Farrell and Eddie Goldman, I think they might be battling for roster spot 52 and 53. But this is why I'm so glad that I had you on the stream. I completely forgot about Javonte Baptiste. You know, this is a transparency moment. And I would have had to pluck from another guy from another position group to put him on the roster. Mm-hmm. But I would not be surprised if he makes the roster, because I think that we saw put a lot of juice from him as a pass rusher last year. And, you know, he's a project, 7th round pick that showed some talent. You know, the reason why I didn't put him on my 53? Because he's been the invincible man this offseason with his injuries. And, you know, that's more on me. But I think that's also a testament to how his career has gone so far when he's not playing. You know, he's basically on the sideline or in the blue tent. But that's a great pull with the Javonte Jean-Baptiste pull. I was keeping 5 linebackers, and that's why I only had us keeping 9 defensive linemen. The 5 linebackers I have are Bobby Wagner, Jordan McGee, Frankie Louvu, Kane Medrano, and Nick Bellore. I actually made a tweet. It was in the first snap of the game where I said that Kane Medrano and Jordan McGee has potential to be our linebacker corp of the future. Now, that didn't age well when, the Baltimore Ravens was running it down our throats. Like I don't even want to describe it. It was so graphic. But, I think a guy like Nick Bellore also sneaks his way on the roster because we saw what he did as a special teams ace last year. And I know he hasn't gotten a lot of burn on the special teams coverages this year. But to take that away from the piss poorest kickoff coverage that we've seen over the course of the preseason, right, I just wasn't ready to do. So what's your take on the linebackers, and how many linebackers do you have making the final 53?
Linebacker room. Hey, it's very early for that take, so don't poo-poo your linebacker take just yet. Do not poo-poo it just yet. They could be the linebacker core of the future. Just like we just spoke about invisible men, Jordan McGee, we see him flash and we never see him again. I need to see Jordan McGee on the field, and I need Kane Medrano to put on some NFL linebacker weight before we can start putting him in those discussions. I'm not going to hold you. I got 5 linebackers here. Ali Cahoe almost made a case to make this room at this point, but one guy is here by a technicality, and that's that Nick Bellore is technically considered a linebacker, even though he's our special teams demon. Bobby Wagner, Louvu, Medrano, McGee, Bellore is my linebacker room. 5 of them. I'm
glad that you brought up Ali Cahoe. I honestly think he did enough to be like the first guy that we signed on the practice squad. And there's been a little bit of murmurs, not too loud, that, Ali Cahoe should make this roster over a guy like Kane Medrano because he looks more like a natural linebacker at this point in his career. While I don't necessarily disagree on that take, I don't think that Ali Cahoe is going to usurp Kane Medrano on this roster. What do you think about that take?
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen either, man. Like, I'm not even trying to keep repeating the same sentiment over and over. They just drafted that guy. They just drafted him. Kane Medrano's not going anywhere. He's not a practice squad candidate. He's going to be on the final roster, man. They're going to keep him. They're going to not only keep him on this team, they're going to find ways to get him on the field in year 1. So, yeah, Kane Medrano's here to stay.
But I definitely would love to keep a guy like Ali Cahoe around. Like I talked about that future linebacker corps of the future. I think that he can potentially be a part of that. This is a guy that you want to develop. And he's coming from UCLA as well, right?
Yeah, as you big Bruins in the building. Norton, Peters, Medrano, Cahoe, all the Bruins.
So, Ken Norton knows what he has in a guy like Ali Cahoe, like he knows what he has in a guy like Kane Medrano. And Kane Medrano was the guy that they decided to draft. I'm gonna just leave that there. So, last but not least, as far as the defensive position goes, or the defensive side of the ball, I have us keeping 10 DBs. And Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, Mikey Sanverstill, Jonathan Jones, Noah Igbenogany. I've gotten so much better pronouncing that last name.
That name used to whoop our ass for a minute.
Bro, that name was fucking me up for about 6 months. Juan Martin, Will Harris, Percy Butler, Jeremy Reeves, and Tyler Owens to round out 10 defensive backs on the defensive side of the ball and 24 defenders on the defensive side. What you got?
Yeah, I got 10 DBs as well. You mean no Carlin Vigors love, Jalen?
Bro, Colin Vigors might not even make the UFL, bro. Colin Vigors might need to try out for your local flag football team at the YMCA because he don't want no type of contact. Colin Vigors got a low light in every preseason game, bro.
An extreme low light. I'm talking about the type of low light that shows up on a highlight reel every time that he does something, man. I don't think Carlin Vigors is cornerback 4 on the defenders.
Is he cornerback 6 on the defenders, bro? So who's the 10 DBs? Are they the same 10 that I have?
Yeah, I have the exact same 10 DBs. I'm interested to see how they divvy up the reps between Jonathan Jones and Noah Igbenogany in a depth role because we ain't seen Jonathan Jones in the preseason for real, and he missed a lot more time. And Noah, the hardest working man in Ashburn, so I'm interested in seeing. I'm glad that Noah is a depth player and he doesn't have to be relied on in the regular season.
All right, let me ask you this because I gave my thoughts on the channel. What did you think last week after the Cincinnati Bengals game or prior to the Cincinnati Bengals game when Joe Wick Jr. said that Jeremy Reeves might be potentially working himself into that third safety rotation? What was your initial impression? And be honest.
You know us in the group chat. If Jeremy Reeves, let's just say Jeremy Reeves has been at the end of a lot of jokes in the group chat, but I didn't believe it. I thought that was just coach speak. I didn't know if his role was actually going to be expanded. But then I've seen training camp this year. I've seen him in the preseason game. Oh, he's the first safety on the field after the starters, Will Harris and Quan Martin. So Jeremy Reeves, the safety, instead of Jeremy Reeves, the specialist, is definitely going to be relied on this year. So maybe somebody else like Percy Butler needs to take over being the head of special teams because we're going to see a lot more of Jeremy Reeves on downs 1 through 3 instead of 4 this year.
What's your opinion on Tyler Owens? Because I found myself to be a little bit higher on him than the rest of the fan base. And I know I fall in love with height, weight, speed numbers sometimes. But I've seen some potential out of a guy like Tyler Owens. You even mentioned it on your channel that he's a guy that you're going to have to move around and find different type of matchups for him to take advantage of his skill set. But what's your opinion on Tyler Owens?
My opinion on Tyler Owens is I was very excited. One, because also height, weight, speed. I mean, you see a guy that looks like a Madden avatar, and you want to put that on the field. And I remember the hype like 2 days into camp. It doesn't seem like that hype necessarily translated to what we were hearing early in camp when they got in actual preseason games or even in joint practice. But I'm cool with him. But it seems like Jeremy Reeves took his candy this offseason.
I feel that, and that would be so unfortunate to say because I'm gonna have a hard time buying that Jeremy Reeves had a late career resurgence in year 8. I'm gonna just have a hard time buying it, like he's more than just a special teams ace. But let's move on to the special teams and the specialists. We have Tressway, we have Tyler Ott, and we have Matt Gay. We know how you feel about kickers.
Yep.
We know how you feel about kickers. So, what's been going through your mind through Matt Gay's struggles in this preseason?
Oh my God, here we go with this again. I'm trying not to panic. I will not panic until we get to the regular season and he starts this bullshit. But when you give a kicker the highest guaranteed at signing for a kicker, you expect them to be lights out. I'm watching kickers league-wide. I'm watching kickers that don't have real names and are real people kicking 60, 65, 70-yard field goals in preseason. But for whatever reason, Matt Gay, from 50 and above, we don't have a shot. It's almost like we're going for fourth down every time it's not a 50. Every time it's over 49 yards, we're going to have to go for it. But until I see it in a regular season game, I'm going to shoot him some bail and say it hasn't mattered yet.
Bro, Joey Slye kicked a 63-yarder the other day.
Yeah, he did.
Now I know he misses the 27-yarders, but when you see him hitting a 63-yarder and then the very next day your man can't put it past 45,
crazy.
I'll be lying if I said I didn't have flashbacks. I'll be lying if I didn't say that. All right, so we just rounded out. That's our final 53-man roster. What's your opinion on the roster as a whole, from the top half, the top end of the roster, all the way through 53? We know one is Jayden Daniels, all the way to 53, which is what, Sheldon Day and Cleveland Ferrell.
I think that we stress out we stress about things a lot more prematurely than we need to. Everybody wants a Kansas City Chiefs, Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit Lions type roster. Well, guess what? We just happened to maximize the earlier window of we opened up our Super Bowl window a lot faster than a lot of these teams. So we're talking about teams that were accumulated over a 3 to 5 year period. We're in year 2. We're not going to turn Ron's nasty ass roster into the Eagles in 2 off seasons. But when you get a force multiplier, a neutralizer like Jaden Daniels, and Adam Peters puts just the right amount of pieces on them, the core nucleus of the team is already good enough to compete with anybody in the league, and we're already opening up that window. I'm not tripping about the ass end of the roster. Can we use more? Absolutely. That was always going to be the case in year 2, though. So I'm not tripping, bro. As long as Jaden Daniels and company take that field for us, we got a shot every week. And I more than feel like we have a chance to beat everybody on our schedule.
Shout out my guy, Will, man. Day one supporter. He says Carlin Vickers should be a spot on the offenders because he felt some type of way watching him play. Me too, bro.
My man Will said,
you might as well
on the registry.
Orange jumpsuit, in the orange jumpsuit, bro. I'm telling you.
Shout out to my man. They said put Vickers on the registry. That's crazy.
Shout out to my man Gary. It was a pleasure meeting you on my way out of the game in the middle of the second quarter because that's just what Sam Hartman quarterback game was gonna make me do. Like I was about to gouge my eyes out watching that game. I don't know if you made it all the way through, Gary, but you're a trooper. All right, Rio. I need it. I know we haven't done the group chat pod yet, and I know it's soon to come. It's coming. A staple of the group chat pod is a bold prediction coming from everybody in the group chat. But being that we're on stream now, and we're in a celebratory mood, we're in a joyous mood. It's Terry McLaurin got paid day.
Okay.
I need one bold prediction from any player on this 53-man roster.
I'm going to try to bring back a bold prediction from last year to put a little more stank on it in 2025. Dorrance Armstrong, 12 and a half sacks in 2025 for the Washington Commanders, baby.
Is he the leading sack getter?
Yes, he is leading the team in sack with 12 and a half sacks because he's going to make it through a 17-game season. He's going to be doing that spin move 7 times a week because he love that shit. Dorrance Armstrong for 12 and a half sacks. Easy.
That's the hard one to follow up. That's a hard one to follow up. I'm not even going to lie to you.
That's the hot take.
And shout out to my guy Will for the super sticker. Like I said, day one supporter. I appreciate the support. All right, here's mine. And this might not even sound as crazy when you watch the entire landscape of the NFL. But knowing the Washington Commanders, we haven't had these type of dynamic athletes in a while. I have us having 3 or more returns on special teams this year.
Whether for touchdowns?
Whether that be punt return or kick return. Maybe 2 from Jalen Lane on the punt return end and 1 from Deebo Samuel on the kick return end. I have us having 3. Matter of fact, no, this bold takes, right? 5 or more return.
You don't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that, Jalen.
I got to.
You didn't even need to do all that shit.
It's Terry McLaurin Day, bro. It's Terry McLaurin Day, bro. Because guess what? If it happens, I'm going to sound just as crazy as I do today when I'm running that victory lap.
You're a wild boy, man.
I know. It's almost as wild as me saying Emmanuel Fools is going to catch 10 picks last year.
Oh, my God.
Still not
when we get in a room together, us in the group chat, anything is liable to be said. So, you got to be careful when we start throwing bold predictions around.
Can I be 100% transparent with you before we end this episode?
Yes, sir.
Before I remember that Terry McLaurin got paid today, I put on a Jahan Dotson jersey in honor of you being on stream. Can you let the stream know why I put on the Jahan Dotson jersey? And I don't even want to put too much smut on your name because we were all in this boat. Why was I about to wear a Jahan Dotson jersey?
Hey, man, there was a point where there was a Jahan Dotson agenda to be wide receiver 1 in DC. Our most notable, we had to finally have a palate cleanser posse picture of a group picture because we have a picture the night that Justin Fields put 40 on us, blackout night on Amazon Prime, Thursday Night Football. We're all in the parking lot, took the most epic picture. It's about 6 Jahan Dotson jerseys, and I got on a damn shirt that says Jahim, and the I in Jahim is the number 1 for Jahan Dotson, and we look nuts.
Bro, are they talking about Gabe Taylor? Are they talking about signing Gabe Taylor? They say then use Gabe position.
They must be talking about Gabe Davis, but he just signed. Did he sign back with Buffalo or?
I wouldn't even want Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis moved like me, bro. Gabe Davis moved
cooked.
like me. He's good. Same reason why I didn't want Amari Cooper, but I just wanted to bring up that Jahan Dotson tape because people act like I only run victory dots and I'm never eating pro.
Oh yeah, we take L's.
We take L's over here, and guess what? That's the business of the content game. You're gonna always take L's, not always, but you're gonna take some L's.
Oh, no, we're always gonna take L's because we ain't no damn experts, and even the experts take L's. So of course we're gonna take them.
Absolutely, like Adam Schefter saying that the Commanders were nowhere close to signing Terry McLaurin.
You mean like your boy John Keim, who don't ever have it, but always says he'd been hearing it the day after?
The day after. Didn't he say that Terry wasn't touching $30 million, or did I hear that?
Hey, you can expect one of these every time some news break. And there it is.
I've been hearing about it since the beginning of camp. Come on, John.
I'd been hearing it since last Thursday that they were closing in on it. No, you didn't. We listen to your podcast, John.
What's your hokers on, John? You lying. What's your hokers on? And your Carhartt shorts, John. Shout out to John, though, Godfather in the Commanders community. Oh, yeah, but hey, we all take L's. I think that's gonna do it though, man. I appreciate you coming on the channel, Mr. 20K. I know the people know where to find you, but just remind them if they forgot.
Rio Robinson, Rambling with Rio's the channel. Rio Robinson's the YouTube channel. Rambling with Rio's the name of the show. Rio_Robinson on social media, and you can catch me on Commanders Kings. We had our live event last night. Sorry for those of you who tried to stream it online. Apparently, our audio has been intercepted by someone overseas. But for everybody that pulled up to the event, it was amazing, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit later on tonight.
Oh, shout out to my guy Charles. Dropped a late buzzer beater super saying Jalen Lane 5 TDs. How you feel about that bow take?
I like it, man. That's like young Jamison Crowder. That's what I've envisioned he could be, but much faster. So
this defense is going to have 15 interceptions. Man, it's a lot of bow takes. It sounds like everybody's ready for the football season. I can't wait to get there. Like Rio said, you know where to find him. Like I've said for the last couple of weeks, I'm really trying to step up my content on the channel, man. We got a lot of content coming when the season starts. We got reaction videos. We got streams like this. We got weekly streams going on. We got game analysis, game recaps. So make sure you tap into the channel. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And we'll check in on y'all on the flip side, man. Peace.
Hell yeah. Let's get it.